Hello, 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 and welcome. This is her talk show. My name is Sabrina Victoria, and I am here with Anna. We are going to be talking all about leadership. I think this is one of the most important things when it comes to being a woman. We need women stepping into leadership. We're going to be talking about purpose, joy, and success. Super excited about it. So get comfortable as we explore the triumphs and the challenges faced by women worldwide. We're going to be offering insights and inspiration to fuel your personal and professional growth. So let's jump in.
Get ready, because today's guest is about to change the way you view your world. This is Her Talk Show, hosted by Sabrina Victoria.
If you're listening live, we see you jumping on. Thanks so much for being here. If you're listening on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can show you some love in the comments. We are here every single day, and we delve into the deep realms of health, wealth, and leadership with some of the most brilliant women globally. We've interviewed over 600 women, and today we are adding another one to the list. We have Anna Sasmiresan. She is an awarded founder of Transformation Through Conversations, a Pompano company. She is the SN Florida Vice President at Randstad.
That's right.
Yes. Operational Talent Solutions, the #1 global human resources provider. Oh, I love that. Anna is an executive director with Maxwell Leadership and the host of the LIVE2LEAD Leadership Conference in Pompano Beach and the Values Room podcast. I love the name of that podcast. Born and raised in Romania, Anna studied foreign language arts and political science before immigrating to the United States in 2001. Welcome, lady.
Hello, my dear friend. It's so great to be here.
Yes.
I look forward to this conversation.
Yes, and we're two curly-haired girls
I know.
today.
Curly night.
Yes, I love it. Listen, I love the topic of leadership. I think this is one of the pillars of her nation, health, wealth, and leadership, because I think this is one of the things that we really need to hone in on when it comes to all aspects of our life, right? Our mother, being a mother, a lead in motherhood, when it comes to being running a household, when it comes to business, when it comes to our health, taking the lead. Why are you looking into leadership? Why is this so important to you?
Oh gosh. And everything you just said, it is exactly my background foundation of the leadership for life, because we lead our lives. Leadership is not a job. It's actually a function that we engage with every single day. We lead our families. We lead in our communities. We participate in a lot of different environments where we have the opportunity to lead, right? So the whole background story of leadership for life is that leadership is not a job title. It's a skill set that we engage with every single day in our normal day. If you're a person, you're a leader, and you have to take charge.
I love how you're saying it's a skill set, because skill sets can be taught.
Correct. Yes.
A lot of times people are like, I'm not a leader. I'm more of a quiet introvert. We don't lead. But you're saying it's a skill set.
I do believe it is. In fact, I believe that we have immense potential, and we are responsible to build that potential, to build upon the talents that we were born with and develop the skill sets that we want to use to actually fulfill our purpose, right? And that's why purpose is so important, because it gives us passion, it gives us discipline. Purpose actually is an activator. And when we take our natural talents and we combine that with experiences, with wins, with failure, with relationships, we actually start fulfilling our purpose, and we start making a bigger impact in the world. Yes, there are some people that will say they are natural born leaders. And maybe those people are, a little more natural, more charismatic, and they're more outgoing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have the leadership skill set. They still have to actually develop it.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I worked in sales for so much of my life, and I can tell you from personal experience that the best salesman, who's the super most charismatic, can pull in all the sales, is not always the best leader.
That is so good. And how often have you seen that those high performers actually end up in leadership positions?
Yep.
And it is not exactly the best place for them. And it is also not very productive for their teams. So, yeah, that is a very good example of how charisma and what people consider to be leadership, which is that external image, I guess, for lack of a better word, it's actually really not leadership. Leadership is caring. Leadership is values. Is really considering how every single thing that you do every day adds value and serves others and serves the bigger picture. So, in my theory of leadership, leadership is actually not has absolutely anything to do with management. It has everything to do with fulfilling your purpose. And so, yeah, not the best salesperson, not the best leader.
Yeah, for sure. Earlier you said purpose is an activator. What does that mean?
Well, I'm going to ask you, when is the moment that you have felt most fulfilled?
Like a single moment?
A moment, or maybe you've achieved something that you really wanted, that you tied that to your purpose.
Yeah, I mean, there's several of them. When I started my podcast, when I hit 50, when I hit 100, when I hit 250, when I launched my digital magazine. I just got my EIN number for Her Nation Global. So,
Oh,
yeah, really feeling the evolution of the purpose over
yeah.
and over and over and over again.
Yeah. So, what I mean with the fact that purpose is an activator is that our purpose actually it compounds. Like we achieve things on our way to becoming who we are supposed to become, and each milestone is part of that purpose, and each milestone creates a tremendous amount of joy in our life. And joy is an activator, right? It's part joy and purpose go hand in hand. And so joy and purpose actually keep us in the game. They keep us through maybe some of the hard times, the failures that we are experiencing. If we know we are working towards our purpose, we actually can go through that. It's an activator also in a way of sometimes you are in one career and you wake up one day and say, wow, I really think my purpose is to serve this area, and you start. Purpose activates you in a different direction. So you're actually reinventing yourself in the process of pursuing your purpose.
Wow, this is so interesting. So it all starts with purpose, you're saying?
It all starts with a dream.
Okay.
It starts with self-belief.
Okay.
It also starts with understanding that every single one of us have a diamond inside.
Hmm.
However, it will only shine if we are willing to polish it. So it starts with a tremendous amount of personal growth and discipline and consistency towards the purpose. I think everybody has a different path, and they are all great as long as we are making progress towards what we want to become and what we're supposed to become.
Yeah. When we're talking about leadership for life, how is that a congruent methodology to what you're
Mhm.
talking about here as far as purpose, joy, and success?
Well, so that is such a great question, because I think that quite often we assimilate achievement with either a happy family or a successful career.
Okay.
And leadership for life is actually having congruency in our life where we lead well at home and we lead well at work. I'll give you a couple of examples. I see sometimes people who have an incredible life at home, beautiful family, They are very caring, engaged. They activate the potential of their children and loved ones. However, they go to work and they are very, they're managing their teams. Okay, let's use leadership and management, right? So they're managing their team. Like they're given a formula. Everybody needs to be sort of complying to the same standard. There's not really a lot of leadership of activating people. The other side of that is there are also some folks that are leading very well at work and they have incredible teams and careers, but they're actually contributing in a very minimal way at home and just providing maybe and having some expectations of their loved ones to have the same career path like them in the future. Where Leadership for Life is actually saying that we are going to lead at work, and we are going to lead at home, and we're actually going to create that positive influence we want in all spheres that we enter. We could lead in our community. We could be a part of an event where we actually can make a great impact. We can lead in our church. We have to lead in all environments to be considered to reach Leadership for Life. Let's say that. Because Leadership for Life is consistency and leading from your values in all spaces, in all rooms you enter.
Okay. No matter where you are.
No matter where you are.
Even heading into your house. I like that. When we're talking about leadership regarding parenthood versus entrepreneurship versus business, is there a difference?
Well, you see, this is where the heart rule comes in.
The heart rule?
The heart rule, yeah.
Oh, tell us.
Many people know the golden rule.
Yes.
Right? Treat others how you want to be treated. And a few years ago, I've heard about the platinum rule. And the platinum rule simply says to treat others how they want to be treated. But I believe there is actually a higher standard that ties directly to leading well in all aspects. And that is the heart rule. And the heart rule simply says in all environments to treat others the same way you would like them to treat your loved ones.
Okay.
So should we digest it a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. So think about, let's say we are a leader, we are at work, we have an employee. That person is someone else's child. How would that parent like us to lead their child? Probably they would like us to be patient. They would like us to equip them. They would like us to help develop them. They would like us to accept them. They would like us. Those are all the same type of expectations that we have of someone else leading our loved ones. So if we could, in essence, be true to the expectation of leadership, if we truly could treat others the exact same way that we expect them to treat our loved ones, we actually could change the world, and we can achieve leadership for life, because we not only would treat our own loved ones the same way we want them to be treated, but we would treat everybody else the same way as well.
Wow. Where did this come? Where did this come from?
It's been a part of a research I've done for a couple of years. I was actually running a workshop, and there was a person in this workshop that every session would say, I'm a completely different person at home than at work. Wow. And it just got me thinking, like, I've actually heard that saying a lot. I've heard a lot of people say that before. And it got me thinking about, well, why are we so different? Why are we different at home than at work, or the other way around, right? And so I've actually interviewed a lot of people on this subject, leaders who are also parents. And I chose leaders who are parents because of my Leadership for Life theory, which is, well, we have to lead at home and we have to lead at work. Let's see, where is the gap? I believe that somewhere in between those two worlds, we have an expectation of others that we don't always meet ourselves. And that is exactly what the research showed. When I asked the leaders, what were they most afraid of? What is on their mind heavy when their loved ones go into, let's say, a first job, right? They didn't want that first manager to not value their child. They didn't want that first manager to not have patience, to not allow the person to be authentic, to not even develop that person. And so then I asked them, how would you like them to be treated? And they actually used maybe 4 common words, which was to listen to them, to care and show it, to develop them, and to accept them as who they are. And then I asked them, do you lead this way today? And 60% of them said no. It was a very emotional process. But
Wow.
what that really means is that we want others to do better than we sometimes are willing to do ourselves in a very similar situation. And, I think that we can't change the world that way,
Yes.
We can't change the world that way. We have to be consistent with our expectations of others, at least.
Wow. That is something. That's a big number right there.
Yeah.
Of people willing to admit that. I feel like it's even probably higher than that because people, aren't going to want.
I can only go with the stats,
Yeah.
right? But I think so too. I think that even I sometimes need to remind myself of my own rule. There's various
Wow.
circumstances that sometimes maybe steer us away from how we want to lead.
Yeah.
But at the core, if we know our values, if we value the people in front of us, if we, as John Maxwell says, if we put a 10 on everybody's head, they're a 10, right? They're a 10 based on who they were born. They were 10 based on their talents. They were 10 based on their potential. They're not always a 10 based on their performance, but that's why we are there as leaders, to help them get to a 10 in performance as well. And that's, I think, if we see people that way and we dedicate ourselves to growing them, we dedicate ourselves to making sure that they feel like they matter, and coaching them and equipping them, we actually can lead them the same way we expect others to lead our loved ones.
That's good. Is there a difference between how we lead externally versus how we self-lead?
Well, quite often I would say there is. In fact, I think it's harder. This is why Leadership for Life is so key. It's harder to lead ourselves, especially in the things that are not obvious. They're not visible outside of ourselves. I think also, since I am quoting John Maxwell, I'm going to quote him again. He said, the hardest person to lead is myself. Right? And that's because I can make commitments, I can make plans, but sometimes I have to be the one that is responsible for fulfilling them, and nobody's going to be able to really keep me accountable from the outside. When it comes to Leadership for Life, I believe that the accountability comes from your values. And sometimes people have not actually spent enough time to really pursue their values. It's an experiment that you have to go through for a good amount of time. I think most of the theorists on the subject say anywhere between 18 months to 2 years to experiment with your values, to sit back and think about, how do these values drive your behaviors? Are they consistent? Are you consistent based on those guardrails that those values set up for you in how you make the right decisions? And so the self-leadership is hard. It's hard, right? We all want to develop ourselves, but it takes discipline to do. We can make a plan, or we can have an aspiration, like, I want to lose 10 pounds. Super easy plan, super easy goal. Well, those 10 pounds are going to take month and month of work and discipline and building better habits. And that's the hard part. of self-leadership. That's just one example.
Yes. When you're talking about core values, how does somebody begin to explore their own? Like, how does somebody figure out what their core is? This in a book somewhere? Where do we find our core values?
Well, I think there's many methods, but one that I would say, and I'm happy to share it with you and your listeners as well. But there is a values discovery process that exposes people first to a set of words and definitions, and then it actually asks them to go explore. Let's say integrity is one of the most common after family, right? But let's say integrity, because the integrity value is easy to say what's right and what's wrong with. When it comes to family, that's a bit broader because it depends on the person's situation. But integrity is easy. So if I say, I have the value of integrity as a core value in my life, well, what does that mean? I am fair. I don't lie. I serve others. Whatever scenarios I'm exposed to, I have to be integral in those scenarios with others. And then I have to go to work. Well, am I like that? You know, am I actually respecting the value of integrity? If I am respecting the value of integrity, when I observe something that is against it, it actually feels very yucky inside. Like, oh no, this actually is against my values. It could be like, oh, let's steal something from the store. Oh no, I can't steal something from the store. Like, that is not ever something I'm gonna be able to do because it's against my value. So that's just a basic example. So it's exposing yourself to words that define values, understanding the definition, and then actually experimenting with them. There could be other kind of values, like the value of valuing every person. Well, that's a value. And when you look at someone, that's a difficult value, and you really do have to do a lot of work to understand, hey, is that my value? Do I truly value every person? It could be a lot of components in that, right? Like, it's really easy to say I don't like someone I don't know because I don't know them, so I don't know what to like about them. But what if I, with a value of valuing every person, would say, I know everyone has a diamond inside that I want to find. I want to understand who this person is, how they are, if we can build a relationship. Are those the habits that I engage in my life? I think you have a little bit of this value, my dear. Are those the habits that I engage in my life? Because that means that this is a value for me. Now, what happens when I see someone that is taken advantage of or mistreated? Oh, I feel really yucky inside. I can't go through that situation without saying something because this is a key value in my life. So that's a process. That's why it takes a lot of time. And sometimes we also have aspirational values, right? And we work through, eventually I would like to have this value, but I have to be honest, today I don't, right? Like, whatever this aspiration is, I want to become this way, but today I don't behave this way. So if it's not a true value today, I cannot declare it, but I can set the plan and with discipline get there. So that's how we explore ourselves and we build our purpose and our joy, because we see what pulls us. In the process of growth, I think there are three stages. Some things push us down, and those are the things that go against our values. Some things kind of keep us level, and those are sort of the things and the moments in our life when we're kind of stuck and we're almost on autopilot. And some things pull us up, and those are those aspirations. Those are the ones that are related to our purpose and our potential because they're bigger than us. We do change ourselves to become that. We make time. We see a lot of people that say, I can't develop myself because I don't have time. And we
Mm.
make time. If it's a value, if it's something that's really pulling us up, we make time for. So long answer, but basically it's a long process, and you really have to allow yourself to experiment so that you can arrive to a good set of values.
Yes. And then this all, when you're figuring out your personal values, core personal values,
Yes.
how is that helping individuals with their leadership?
Well, as you can see, unfortunately, around us, there's a lot of examples of people that don't lead from their values.
Mm.
And it's unfortunate because we need good leaders, we need role models. So what happens is when we go through the personal process, it's a personal growth process, it's a personal development process, this process of exploring your values, and you align your behaviors, your habits, your beliefs, you align your community to your values when you go through this process as well. Now you become a more structured leader when it comes to leading from those values. You are able to arrive to a right or wrong easier because you have guardrails when you have values. So when you lead people, you lead from a place of values. You lead from a place of adding
Awesome.
adding value to them as well, right? Because that's also a huge responsibility of a leader.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, that definitely came right around. That was awesome. Thank you so much for all of that. We have a ton of people watching live, and I'm certain a ton of people watching replay here. When individuals are resonating with you, they're really understanding what you're saying, they like to reach out. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about exactly who you help, what you do, and who should be reaching out to you.
Well, thank you, Sabrina. That's a very appreciated question. I help people in in two buckets. I would say if I could put them into buckets. So if somebody is on a personal development path and they're really interested in understanding their values and going through that process of creating a path in their life, maybe they have been in a career for a long time, one that can be very successful, but they see this next stage, right, differently. And by the way, that doesn't even have to be outside of their career. They're reinventing themselves within the life they have as well, and they're elevating themselves. So those are people that I help on a personal level. And then on a business side, I like to work with leaders, especially executive leaders, because they have the biggest influence with everyone in their organization to create strong leadership cultures in companies and help them understand the incredible value the people they employ have in their company. I think a lot of companies look for profits and people. I will say that I would challenge anyone to look for people and profits, because if people are developed, they bring much bigger profits. If people are happy, they take care of the clients much, much better. It's the people are first. They are the purpose of the organization in my mind, because if they are able to come and basically build their purpose with joy while achieving success at work, they will bring incredible contribution to the company.
Mm. Beautiful. Where can people find you?
So they can find me right now online at live, that's LIVE, number 2, lead, LEADFL.com. So that's LIVE2LEADFL.com.
Awesome. And where do you hang out on social media?
I'm all over the place. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. I actually say if you put a smoke sign, I might show up. So I try to connect with everyone who's interested. I am absolutely a leadership junkie. So if you want to talk about leadership, please reach out.
Yes. Fabulous. Well, I so enjoyed hanging out with you. I took a ton of notes here while you were speaking, and I certainly hope that the people listening today also did the same. Her website, live2leadfl.com. It is in a clickable link in the description wherever you are listening to us at. So make sure you check that out. And then, of course, her social media. We love to make sure that we connect people here on this platform. And this is how we can all begin to rise. All begin to rise. So any closing thoughts as we kind of wrap up here?
I'll keep it very simple. Let's live to lead. Thank you so much.
I love that. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you being here, taking some time out of your day to spend some time with us and drop just some really awesome inspiration and wisdom with us. To our dedicated listeners who are still hanging on until the very end here, thank you so much for being with us. Remember to follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I invite you to join our amazing community, Her Nation, where we continue to have conversations just like this one so that we can help you rise and thrive. Until next time, do something awesome.